Welcome back, everybody, to the OA News Overtime Podcast with Adam Cole. Adam Cole. And I'm Justin Lee. We're here at Samford Hall, fitting as because we're going to talk about the president of the school. That's why we came here, and we still don't have our new office yet. So, Adam, it's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
It's actually the first day. John, it's the first day on of class on campus for the summer semester. So it's Chris Roberts' first day again. His first day was Monday. And we spoke to him. Me and Diamond did, Adam, and I don't know. It was interesting. I posted the article. I mean, we'll just jump right into the thing everyone wants to know in the sports world. And I asked him, about Alan Greene's expiring contract. It's set to expire in January, and he didn't say much.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, he doesn't say much about anything. You know how these suits are. But he said that he's going to be meeting with all the direct reports to the president. The athletics director is one of them, over the coming weeks. And the way he put it was learn a lot, learn about the programs that they're overseeing and all that. And I asked him straight up. So, did you listen to the Feinbaum segment with Alan or no?
I read a little bit about it.
So Alan had said that it's like, oh, your contract's coming close to expiring. What's going on? And he's like, well, when Jay Gooch came in. So Allen was hired by Stephen Leith, right?
Right.
And then when Jay Gooch came back, Allen was kind of saying like, well, Jay doesn't want to extend him because he wants the next president to make that call to decide. Next president picks who they want to be athletic director, whether it's Allen or whoever, right? And I asked Chris straight up. I was like, okay, so is that, did Jay leave this for you? And he didn't want to answer that question. So take that for what it's worth. Alan said one thing. Chris doesn't want to really say it, but yeah, I mean, I think it's just kind of a mystery. We don't know what the timetable is. We don't know how impressed Chris is going to be by Alan. We don't know. Alan says he wants to be here, and I believe him.
Yeah.
I believe him. But I don't know, man. It's an interesting time, and when you think about it, it's just the word of the year, I think, is going to be alignment. This magical word of, you want to have all your ducks in a row. You want to have, in the ideal world, right, Adam, you want to have a president who picks his athletic director, who picks that coach.
Yeah.
And everyone's responsible for everybody, and it goes up the chain. Because you mess around and you have, Steven hired Alan, but Alan inherited Gus, and blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And it doesn't work well usually when that happens. But I don't know, man. I think that the only way to solve it is to win football games.
Yeah.
When we're talking about football. Because it could be a mess. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, when you think about if things go especially bad this season, if they have another losing season, I think Brian's gone.
Right.
Even if he has maybe a middling season but Allen's not retained, but a new AD's in and he didn't hire Brian, it becomes a mess, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. You personally, like, what jumping into the middle of this, is Auburn a mess?
Well, no, okay, so
I'm curious about the outside perspective, because that's what a lot of people seem to feel like, when Paul is pestering Allen.
Right.
This is what he's talking about.
So remind me again, just real quick, when does Allen's contract expire?
January 2023.
Okay, January 2023. So there's a whole
but see, if you had a coaching search,
right,
it would be in December.
This is true.
By him.
So.
And then he would leave.
Wow. Good Lord.
Yeah.
And I mean, definitely, I guess to kind of give it that outside perspective, just everything from the onset of February, I mean, yeah, it's made it look like a mess. And obviously, I guess things have calmed down to a degree, but
right.
I don't know what I would pay to be a fly on the wall in the room of Harsin recruiting and because I would imagine it's a pretty hard sell after all that stuff. And there's only so much coach speak you can say that really, I think, makes a difference.
You got to get results.
Right. And so that's going to be, I think really big. Certainly, I guess, I don't know. Favorable is not the right word, but the fact that Allen's contract expires after a football season, that could be pretty big if they do well. If they don't do well, then obviously, it's an interesting situation. I don't know that I would call it. It seems a little messy, but across the board for athletics, I don't know that I would call everything a mess just from my outside perspective.
Sure. Okay.
Especially when you see how, something like men's basketball is doing as well
Right.
as it is, and stuff like that, and obviously baseball.
And Allen, to his credit, did what everyone wanted him to do, and that's extend Bruce Pearl.
Right.
Like, he did the thing that the people wanted him to do, and I don't think it's going to kill Auburn either. I think they found themselves with a long-term contract that's meaty, but I mean, when you think about the money coming in, how much more money is Auburn going to be making in 8 years?
Right.
With it, Texas and Oklahoma are here. SEC signed a $1 billion deal. A long term. If you've got the guy you want, for sure.
Yeah.
It looks like a really well-structured deal, to be honest. I don't know, man. It's just we don't know what's next. I can only say, we're kind of rambling, but I can only say what we know, and that's what Chris will tell us.
Right.
And that's we know Allen wants to be here. We know Chris. I mean, I would think Allen's certainly a candidate for Chris to hire. But other than that, that's just what we've got. And we'll see where it goes from here. No real timetable. I mean, they could drop a bomb on us at any moment. We don't know. Allen, there's been reports that Allen has interviewed in other places.
Yeah.
Obviously, why wouldn't you? If you should always be, and you should always be looking and seeing if the grass is greener, because maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. But that's not something that I don't think Auburn fans should hold against Allen to have been looking around, because he doesn't know. He didn't know who the new president was going to be. He didn't even. If you don't know who your boss is going to be, he's had. It's been a tough little row, and I do think Auburn fans should remember that. You come back and you get an interim. Basically, he wasn't interim president. It's a second tenure, but you basically get an interim boss.
Yeah.
And it's going to be short-lived, but it ended up being 3 years, which is
it's a pretty long short-lived. It's a pretty long short-lived.
It's a long time to be in a stasis,
right?
A temporary. All the way to the end of his contract almost. So, I don't know. It's a tough deal, and like you said, I don't know how do you get in line? How do you get in order? Right? Is that the big question?
I would imagine, and I think inevitably, as weird as it is, like I would imagine all this stuff presumably gets in line now, whether it's Harsin pulls off a very successful season, and you're retaining not only Harsin but Allen as well, and then it's like, okay, there's order there and there's stasis, like fine, or it goes the really sloppy route, and the first 5 home games are 2 and 3, and all of a sudden, Harsin's coaching for his job, and then inevitably somewhere in there,
or even if he only has some confidence but not all confidence,
right?
You're waiting 1 more year.
Yeah.
If he's not on the hot seat this year, he'd be on the hot seat the next year.
Yeah. So
he only has a 4-year deal.
Right. So I think inevitably all this stuff works itself out. It's just a matter of, okay, is it going to be this like stretched out, very ugly work itself out, or is it going to be as simple as, okay, they're winning football games, let's keep everybody and keep this thing rolling? So
here's one of the things that I'm going to be talking about a lot, Adam. And here's the thing about alignment. How do you get in line, right? How does this happen? I can tell you how you do it. You recruit, period. Not just players. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Recruiting used to be 99% of the game, and now it's 100% of the game, period. This is where I'm at. Like, it comes down to recruiting not just players, recruiting fans, recruiting supporters, recruiting donations, recruiting people in administration. It comes down to recruiting people to your side. This whole idea of just like this weird like power dynamic of like who's on the throne and who heals to. No. That's not gonna work anymore.
Yeah.
It's never gonna work. It works in one place. It's Tuscaloosa. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It only works when you win the way he does. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked anywhere else, and it won't. It comes down to recruiting, and that's what BP did. BP came around here. I don't know if you know this. The state of Auburn basketball in 2014
It's pretty not good, right?
was dire.
Yeah.
But Bruce would go around, and he would literally go to the fraternity houses and like recruit guys, like come to the game, like I'll give you a T-shirt, like just please.
That's like
we need you here.
That's like what they were doing at UCA when I was there.
Yeah,
Some
Central Arkansas.
mid-major stuff.
Yeah. He's like, we need you guys here. Come on. And what happened? Eventually. Talked about as the best home field advantage in college basketball, right? It comes down to recruiting. Chris, if you want the athletic director on your side, recruit him to be on your side. Alan, if you want the president on your side, recruit him to be on your side. Pitch him your ideas, sell him on them, convince him that he's the way to go. Every fan out there, Brian Harsin, listen, man, like, I don't have full support. That's what he told ESPN. Oh, I don't have full support, brother. Earn it.
Yeah.
Get out there and recruit. Get them on your side. Tell them what you're doing. Get them to come to your side. That's the answer.
Yeah.
For me, and I think that's going to be the story for as long as, until the athletic director and the football coach are both on long-term deals. This is the story and right now it's pretty short term.
Yeah.
We've got 6 months left on your athletic director. 3 years on your football coach. And again, like we know, if Alan were to leave, if Alan were to get a job at somewhere else right now and leave, that would be one less ally for Brian.
Right.
One less ally. And he would have to recruit another one.
Yeah.
He'd have to convince this new AD who didn't hire him, he'd have to be like, I want you to feel like you hired me.
Right.
I want you to buy in 100% to what I'm doing. So that's where it comes from. It has to be earned, and it comes from recruiting, man. Like that's where I'm at. You got to be a salesman, and we've seen it happen. His name's Bruce Pearl. Like that's what we've seen happen here.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. It makes a lot of sense. I always go back to. I honestly always think of Barry Odom at Mizzou when I think about that, because he was in this situation where he was like right on a fringe. He was an alma mater guy. He had been on that staff for forever under Pinkel and everything.
Right.
And quite frankly, like, if I remember right, it was by the end of his last season, he was in a place where, like, it seemed like he needed another year, but Jim Sterk never hired him. And so Jim Sterk got rid of him. And it's just one of those little dynamics where it's like, I wonder what the conversations were like between Odom and Sterk. And I would imagine, had Odom, I don't know if he would have tried a little more in Sterk's office to get him on his side or whatever else. It seemed like that was the one big key that kind of allowed for that domino to get pulled. And if Allen were suddenly gone, then Harson's seat becomes, it seems like exponentially more hot.
You think?
Right. Just because you're dealing with people who didn't hire you.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of how that situation always.
In both places, the president and they're not tied to you if they decide to label you as a failure.
Right. Exactly. It's like, well, that's not my guy.
Right.
And it can be that simple.
Right.
So
right.
I think you're definitely right. That's a huge piece of it.
And again, it all goes back to Stephen. It all goes back to Leith, who was hired in 2017, I think, and then left in 2019, the former president of ill repute around here. He set the disruption there, set everything back, and kind of made everything wonky here. But now, can it work? Yeah. Can Allen be I personally believe, can Allen be the athletic director at Auburn for a long time? I think so. I absolutely think so. I think there's always time. I think there's always opportunity. There's any time that he's went through some tough stuff. If you talk about two presidents, one of them temporary. If you talk about COVID, who knows what budget stuff. Through just threw everything out of whack. His entire job description almost changes when you're dealing with budget changes and scheduling and all this. And then of course the summer of 2020, as a black athletic director, I think the only black male athletic director in the conference. I think now Vanderbilt has a black woman. I think he handled that very well, incredibly well for Auburn, in a place where it was pretty, it was toxic. Like, people, if Auburn had, one person says BLM and someone thinks that it means this and someone else thinks it means that, and brutal. And they came up with something else. They came up with the hands that they put on the helmet. They came up with their own thing. He handled it really well. Auburn did not become I don't know. Nothing bad happened here when, it was a pretty divisive time. Right. And I think he deserves credit for that. So it's all to say, I do think he could get extended. I do think it's possible. I think he could impress Chris. Chris could be like, this is the guy for the job. Let's do it. He's had a lot of, he's done a lot of good things and had a lot of challenges.
Right.
So if he has an answer to why not this, why not this, why not this, Chris could be like, you're my guy. Let's sign a deal.
Yeah.
I think that's very much possible. And obviously Brian, of course, he has this year to make it happen. Mm-hmm. This is why he's the coach. He is the coach. They came here with a plan. The plan was, here at Boise, he's the guy who made 3 stars into 4 stars.
Yeah.
Come to Auburn, make 4 stars into 5 stars. Right? Mm-hmm. That's the plan. The plan is still in place. The plan hasn't changed. The plan is that all this hard work and the stadium steps and all that is going to pay off when every player is bigger, stronger, better, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. That's the plan. So that can still come to fruition this year. That can still come to fruition in 2023. So yeah, all of that still still possible to me. I don't think any roads are closed right now. But yeah, that's why we came to Samford Hall to talk about the guys in suits. But I don't know. We can talk about sports now.
There we go. We can talk about sports.
What do you think, Adam? You just talked to Butch?
Yeah.
Thompson?
We talked to Butch Thompson.
The Auburn baseball team closing their regular season.
Mm-hmm.
Magic number is 2.
Magic number is 2. That's really all they need in terms of at least this weekend series against Kentucky to clinch a top 4 seed in the SEC tournament at Hoover.
Which that gets you a bye.
Yep.
But also it becomes double elimination at that point, right?
Right.
Tell me about
it's such a weird dynamic that if you're in one of the first 4 games, and that's 12 seeds, so I don't know, I'm not good at math, but basically if you're in one of the first 4 games, it's single elimination.
Right. It's basically a play-in to get to the tournament.
Right.
Almost.
Right. And then, from there, ultimately, if they clinch a top 4 seed this weekend, not only will they not have to play on Tuesday, they would play the latest game on Wednesday if they were the 4th seed. Which is looking like that's where they're going to be unless Texas A&M has some catastrophic implosion, or Arkansas. Arkansas and Texas A&M are tied atop the SEC West.
Sure.
So if one of those teams gets swept magically or something like that, and Auburn pulls off the sweep, who knows? But really all they need is two wins this weekend at Kentucky, which seems achievable. I hesitate to use the word easy because I think Kentucky's kind of picked it up on the back end. I think they're the only SEC team to win a series against Tennessee this year, which I think part of that is just it's the SEC and all the teams are pretty good to some degree, but it seems pretty achievable at the end of the day, if not very achievable, for them to come out of this weekend in Lexington with 2 wins.
If you get to the final, does it reset like to 2 out of 3? Do you know or no?
In the tournament?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it comes down to just 1 game.
It's just double elimination from then on?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Auburn, I don't think Auburn recently, despite even when they went to College World Series, they didn't have a huge run in Hoover.
Yeah.
So that would be something new for Butch Thompson, I think, if they can get there and have a really good Hoover. That's something they haven't done yet.
I think a run would be massive too, because you look at the way that they're being slated for the national tournament,
right,
and their RPI is so good. Their strength of schedule, I want to say, is 4th or 5th in the country, and that just bumps that rating so much, and that plays into the way the committee sort of slates you, as I understand it. And the last projection was that they'd be an 8 seed, which means
they're right on the bubble,
right?
As far as super regionals,
which is crazy because if they could host their own super regional, that would be, that's
massive,
huge. So a big Hoover would be very big.
Yeah.
We like to use big words.
Insightful, Adam.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll see. It's weird because we'll see how baseball does it. Basketball, it was weird because, it felt like the SEC basketball tournament meant nothing to anyone.
Right.
With the bracket. Like, Texas A&M still didn't get in. Mm-hmm. Nothing mattered. But when you're on that fine of a line, you're literally on that bubble of 8 or 9. Mm-hmm. And obviously, if you're 9, if you play a lower seed, you could still host.
Right.
But if you're 8, you're guaranteed to host the super regional if you advance out of regionals. Because there's 6. Right. So backing it up, there's 16 regionals.
Yep.
Right. and then the two teams advance out of or one team advances out of each regional. And then there are 8 super regionals, the Sweet 16. That's a 2 out of 3 series on campus sites. So Auburn wants to host its regional, win that, and then host the super regional in the Sweet 16. And then everyone who advances out of supers, that's the College World Series. That's the 8 teams that go to Omaha. And when Auburn went to Omaha in 2019, they didn't. They had to play at North Carolina. So that would be this would be a new path to host super regionals and then to make it. I mean, how unbelievable to have here's an Auburn team that stuck with it. I mean, they've had their downs. They've what are they? They seem to barely win every series in game 3.
Right.
Not sweeping it much. And but here they are, where we're realistically talking about the path to Omaha.
Yeah.
Adam could run through Plainsman Park. Unbelievable.
And they don't seem to be like. It's crazy because I hit a point where like my brain is turning to mush talking about so much. Butch talks about the process a lot and focusing on your process. And he brought it up today, and I meant to go back and look. I'm pretty sure it's right. I don't know that they've lost 3 consecutive games this year.
Wow.
Maybe early in the season. I don't think in conference play they've lost 3 consecutive games.
Probably not then.
I think this team is just, they're consistent. The bullpen has gotten some added depth in the last couple weeks because with Burkhalter going down, it looked like that was going to be really precarious. It looked like a sweep against Arkansas could be really probable. Sweep against Tennessee seemed highly likely, but of course that didn't happen. And now you've got a guy in John Armstrong who's really kind of set himself up as predominant middle reliever for at least the rest of the year. And you add that to, Skipper as a setup guy, Burkhalter as your definitive closer, and then, you've got 3 starters who have proven themselves. Joseph Gonzalez, probably the most of those 3. Barnett has been great kind of, in this role that he's taken on with Mullins' injury. I think their pitching staff looks great. I think them at the plate, I think it's really easy to understate if you get too much into who they are is on the mound, but they've been consistent all year, and I think that's going to be – I'm curious to see how that works with postseason play because it's just so much more – there's so much more implication into, getting a win, and Butch talks about, you shouldn't focus on, oh, man, we need a win. You need to focus on just your routine and the next pitch and whatnot, and I'm curious to see how much needing a win in the playoffs maybe has an impact on that, if at all.
Right. So the Magic number's 2. They're 1.5 games up.
Yep.
So just win your series, and they'll host. So there you go. Yep. Well, they'll have a bye in the SEC tournament. There you go. All right. What else? Jabari may go first, may not.
May not.
We still don't know.
Who knows?
So it's the Magic. Do you know who second is?
Magic, the Thunder, and then the Rockets.
The Thunder.
Right.
I think the Thunder will pick them.
I think the Thunder is the most exciting.
Sure.
And I think you look at, of course, like you've got Sam Giddy and then Shea Alexander.
Sure.
And that's that's enticing to play alongside those guys. But you also just look at the trajectory of that franchise too, and the fact that it's they're loading up on lottery picks, and that was the thing. However many years ago that was, I want to say it was like only 1 or 2 years ago that they were like, we're going to focus on building for the future right now.
Sure.
And, to put Jabari Smith in the middle of all that just seems very exciting.
Right. Well, they'll have to see if Orlando passes on him.
Right.
Orlando though might pick Chet.
Right.
Is the kind of the whisper around.
That's what it seems like.
But even though like Jabari might be better, Chet might be the better fit.
Right.
But I think Auburn fans would love to see him go to Orlando and play with Chuma.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. But I think Auburn fans want him to just go as high as he can to make as much money as he can. But but yeah, I think it's really the conversation is not going much further past OKC.
Yeah.
Like I think you're looking at a top 2 pick, and the only Orlando might be one of the only few teams who would have taken Chet over Jabari, as it turns out.
Yeah.
We may get to that, but we'll see. That's later, June or something.
June 23.
That's a million years from now.
It feels like it.
Dude, when we went to the College World Series in 2019, we came back and Chuma got drafted, and it's like, and it was like my first year as Auburn beat writer, and it's like, what Auburn beat writers had to do this? Like, go to Omaha and then come back in time for a first round NBA draft pick, and all of a sudden, it could happen again.
I'm pretty sure
it could happen again. It could happen this year.
It'd be crazy. And then Kessler too. I'm curious to
Yeah.
see, because Combine really starts today. It's funny because they build it as like the G League Combine and then the NBA Combine, but it's really just a whole week of all the Combine stuff. But
Right.
Kessler and Smith, they really start today. Flanagan had a pretty decent G League round, but did not get the call up. But I'm curious to see how much the Combine and just kind of the rest of the draft process has an impact on Kessler.
Allen might have got some confidence back. Just looking at the few clips we have.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you rest for a couple months.
Yeah. So that'll
we'll
be, because heck, he was up to, before last year, he was averaging like what?
Oh yeah.
16, 17 points a game?
Preseason first team all SEC.
Okay, so really like kind of a mainstay.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty big, especially when you consider the fact that they didn't get Julian Phillips.
Yeah.
And you've also got a guy in Westry who,
Yeah.
don't sleep on Chance Westry. Even though he's not a 5-star, he's still number
Right.
33 in the country.
Right.
That's really good.
Just comes down to his health, man. It comes down to that ankle. How's it that Achilles? How's it going to be?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What else, Adam?
Then we got softball as well is
Yep.
heading to
Clemson,
yes.
Yep.
Clemson. I had to think about it there for a second. I wanted to say Tallahassee, but I've been told.
They're traveling today, so
Okay.
I think they start Friday.
Right.
They wouldn't start tomorrow if they're traveling today. What else? I saw Batman vs Superman last night. It was bad.
I'm so sorry.
It was bad, dude.
Okay, so you want to hear something really funny?
Please.
When I was in high school, just like huge DC nerd, I was like a BVS truther.
The movie?
Yes.
Why?
Because I was a stupid high schooler.
It was bad.
It was horrible. Well, yeah, no, that's the
So
thing.
I
is
had a migraine, so I didn't want to watch anything good. Like I didn't want to watch. Like I haven't seen Shang-Chi yet. And I was like, well, I might enjoy that later. So I don't want to watch it now because I'll not enjoy it.
Right.
So I'm like, let me watch something that I know I won't enjoy. And you recommended it too.
Yeah, well, no, you wanted something that you were gonna hate, and it's
So
perfect.
bad.
Well, because I watched it in high school, and I was very like, well, blah 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 blah, and like I really told myself I liked it, and then I probably watched it like sophomore year of college, junior year of college. I was like, jeez,
Nothing they do makes any sense.
right, and it's
People will be like, and people are burnt now because they'll be like, oh, No Way Home it was fan service, it wasn't that good. And it's like, bro, it went from A to B to C, like coherently.
Yeah.
What this
Right.
movie? Oof.
It's so bad, and Martha at the end
Martha!
just kills me. It's like, man, and I just always
Martha!
I think about the way I swore by it when I was like 18, and I was like, that did not hold up.
So wait, now, so have you read Dark Knight Rises?
That was actually
Returns.
Yeah, that was actually the first comic book I ever read, and I'll never forget too, because it's very
That's what it's based on.
right, and it's also just
Inspired
kind of oh my gosh, I remember reading it and being like, okay, I read that, and then like it was like that was it. I wasn't a huge fan, to be honest.
How? Wait a minute, that was good. This is bad.
But I loved, and that's the thing though. I'm not still a fan of the movie. I think it's corny and miserable. The one thing I will stand by. I wish we actually got a good script and a good movie for Ben Affleck's Batman.
Yeah, he could have been better.
I really like him as like Batman Bruce Wayne, but
It's
also
not bad. Yeah.
But also, I mean, everything with Pattinson's been. I was thoroughly surprised at how much I enjoyed
Yeah, see, that's
it.
why I didn't watch the Batman, because I thought I might like it.
Yeah. You still haven't seen it?
No.
Oh man, you got to get to
It's
it.
3 hours, dude.
It's worth it. You may not watch it again. I've tried to rewatch it twice.
Yeah, I can't watch movies that are long again. Like I haven't watched Endgame or Infinity War again because they're long. Like Straight Outta Compton, one of my favorite recent movies.
Yeah.
Watched it on opening night, like on a Thursday at 7 p.m. Haven't watched it again.
How long is that movie?
It's like 2 hours 45.
I've never seen it.
It's a long time. It's
okay,
long.
it's a good one?
It's great though.
Okay.
Oh, it's great.
I need to
love
watch it.
I just can't watch it again.
Yeah.
Because it's long. Anyway, yeah. That's movies. Movie talk
Movies.
with Justin and Adam. I never read Dark Knight Returns, but I watched the animated movie.
Mm-hmm.
My coworker in Texas, Courtney Sacco, who works at Corpus Christi now, photographer. He's a big Batman guy, like yourself. And he had read it, and then he had watched it, and he said it was like shot for shot.
Yeah.
The animated movie.
The animated movies are always.
But this one was very like true to the script, like beat for beat. Like this is what happens in the book. Kind of like when you watch like an anime and a manga.
Yeah.
Or like exactly the same.
Yeah.
Whereas in America, it's like we kind of want something new and different.
Yeah.
But this was a shot for shot, like true to the source material thing. So
You
I
really
feel like
liked
I've read it.
Yeah. Okay. I've never. See, that's the thing. I wonder because I was also.
It's like if you're gonna do old Batman, like just make it to where he does know. Like, why do we have to origin story him meeting Superman? Like, just do it. Just say, hey, he's Batman, he's Superman. You know them. They know each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
And it'll never be done again until.
I still think Justice League. I think the Snyder Cut Justice League was.
Now it's 4 hours.
It's so bad. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. Like it genuinely. And I remember because I was so, like I told you, I was such a truther for all that stuff, and I watched the Joss Whedon reshoot, and it was really bad. And then I think it was senior year or junior year of college, they were like, we're gonna release the Snyder Cut, and I was like rolling my eyes, but I was like, I'll watch this. Worst thing I've ever consumed.
That's so bad.
It was just so awful.
That's terrible. Well, you know what's not gonna be the worst thing we ever consume? Maybe some taco Mama.
I'd be down.
Or Taco Rita. We're gonna get out of here.
Irritable Bow.
If we'll check the line.
Yeah, I gotta check the line.
I've
heard it gets pretty gnarly. But
we'll see. But anyway, we're gonna get out of here then.
Hopefully this podcast is not the worst thing you've ever consumed.
Hope you guys enjoy, and we'll be back next time. We don't know when. We'll see.
Figure it out.
It's the summer.
We'll be here, yeah, from time.
So yeah, there you go.